And, we've been doing this show for 12 years. We're in our 12th year.
Yes.
And we've tried all kinds of stuff. Matter of fact, this show didn't even used to be called Business Brain, right?
No, I think the first title was DBA.
DBA, Doing Business As, which I thought was so clever.
Until we started getting people telling us, you're not talking about database administration at
they're like,
all.
And what's a DBA?
Where's the MySQL, buddy?
I was dating myself. So, but anyway, we've been working on a new experiment here, and I want to talk about it today, and that is what we're calling business blueprints. And I want to talk about the origin of this so I can look back on it a year from now when it's wildly successful. And
you heard it here first. That's right.
Here first. So let's. How did this? We started talking about prompts and Claude and developing business plans and different things. And then I think we started saying, well, that would be amazing if we could adapt that concept to the topics we discussed.
We've long talked about how can we, where is the, like if we are to look at any given episode as raw material. Now, these are not created to be raw material, right? They're created to be valuable in and of themselves. And clearly, at some level, they are, right? I mean, like clearly, 12th season, we've got, all of you listening and engaging and feedback and like all the wonderful things. So success. But it's always been something in the backs of our collective minds and our individual minds, like, well, but how do we get the value? Like, there's more value here than was experienced, because generally you're not going to go back and listen to all of the old episodes. Some of you do, and we love it when we hear from you that do that. But there's value there that can that could have a second life or a third life or a fourth life.
Yeah.
And how do we make that happen? And we've experimented with this over the years. We've done our books,
guides,
right? Guides, And so these business blueprints are the evolution of that, and are the most of the things that we've done previously have not really been leveraging AI to do anything with, because AI is great at taking a body of data and essentially repurposing it, right? And
summarizing, repurposing, and expanding on it.
Yeah.
And that's where the business blueprint idea comes in, is to take we typically on our shows, we talk one or two topics per episode, or maybe we'll have a guest that talks about their background and their experience. And the thought process is, hey, how do we create something that's valuable? It's not really a business plan, because we don't talk about a specific business. It's more conceptual, but there are tactics and real world action items, and this is how how do you implement these things? And that's what we're going to create with the business blueprints.
We've created some already. They're not up to our standards yet, but I mean, they're very close. But obviously, we're perfectionists. So I think we need to put a date on this, Shannon, because if we don't, it's just gonna be in the lab forever, and no one's ever gonna see it. So maybe we call them beta business blueprints, triple B, like love
triple
this,
B.
Yep. We're also recording this episode, as we usually do. We record on Mondays, but we are recording 2 weeks worth of episodes today, because I'm traveling to South by Southwest, as I mentioned. So we won't really be doing anything different for next week either.
Yeah.
So I think these start the week of the 23rd is when we start pushing these out. And actually, if we start them with the content of the 23rd, it might be the week of the 30th that they actually see the light of day.
So we'll be a week in arrears, because we want time to develop, make sure what are we teasing out of each episode? What is the context? What is the concept that we want to share more, that we want to put in our listeners' hands, so they could say, oh, you talked about personality in business, like we talked about on our episode earlier this week on Wednesday. And what are some more examples, and what are some ways to implement this? Because it's one thing to listen while you're driving down a road or walking or doing whatever, talking about this concept, but We want to put something in your hands that says, okay, you listen to this. Here's our take on it. Now, here's an action plan where you could actually implement it and come back and tell us how it worked. And we want to give you the opportunity to help improve the a business blueprint by providing feedback for us and say, hey, I did this and then I added these features and this, I tweaked it this way and really helped.
And it helped. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I know we'll probably call them beta test business blueprints or beta business blueprints when they come out, at least initially. However, there are internal betas that we have already told you exist. If you would like to be a part of helping craft what these are, let us know. Feedback@businessbrain.show, and we can send you one or two of these based on existing episodes that we've been workshopping. And we'd love to get your feedback. Like, I mean, if you ask for it and you don't give us your feedback, whatever. But I'd like to hear from people who at least are planning to read through it and tell us what you think. Feedback@businessbrain.show. Yeah.
And if you're like a super prompt person that builds great prompts, we'd love to share. Here's a prompt that we're using to help us craft this content and to work with. We're currently using Claude Cowork and building this stuff out. So yeah, I'd love to have your involvement, your feedback as we develop this, because we hope it becomes a core part of the show where you could get access to this. Anytime something really resonated with you, you'd be able to go grab one of these business blueprints and there'd be a whole roadmap for you to implement what we're talking about.
Yeah. I think candidly, I think, you and I always have this competition about who learns the most from the episode. I think using these business blueprints, I might be able to learn even more.
Same. Yeah,
I think they might be best for us because we don't get to listen to this.
You build stuff that's for yourself.
No, of course.
You solve for the problems you have.
Yes.
And that's just one of the best ways to build a product, a solution, a service, whatever you're going to do. So
yeah, I'm really excited about these.
I am too. Yeah. I can't wait to get them out into our listeners' hands. And if, like I said, if you want an early access, take a look and give us some feedback, let us know.
Yeah, feedback@businessbrain.show.